Hey guys, it's me, Trainboy11 again, and I'm back with yet a review on the models of trains in other games, and this engine is the Union Pacific Big Boy. And as you already may know, the Big Boy locomotive was a 4884 wheel arrangement locomotive built by the American Locomotive Company. And as you already may know, this locomotive, the Big Boy, is still around. 8 of them are around. Well, this engine right here, 4006, was the model that is in Trainz Driver 2 right now. There are other Big Boy models, but this one is really good. Many people have been reskinning this Big Boy model, but I prefer the way that the Big Boy model is and the way that Big One is in the Galaxy Railways. I really like the model of Big One, who is a Big Boy, and the Big Boy locomotives are the strongest engines in the world. Well, there are other locomotives that have the same tender design, which is the Duluth and Ironton, I believe. I don't know. And this model right here is in Trainz Driver 2. And I really like the Trainz model of this Big Boy. And, well, in the other game that I have on my Chromebook is what you see is Train and Railyard Simulator, and surprisingly, the Train and Railyard Simulator has the same model of the Big Boy, but with some minor differences. And after I'm gonna do a review on this Big Boy, I'm gonna show you the other one. And as you may know, I really like the chuffing sound on this Big Boy. It's so aggressive. I really like the sound. It's really good. It matches the Big Boy locomotive. And the whistle is really good. I really like the way that this Big Boy is. It's really nice. And I really like the way the bell is and all the detail all around. But I really like the shiny glossy finish on this model. And I really like the pop-off valve of the steam hissing out of it. It's really cool. And as I can see on the model, it's rust, and because 4006 is on display, and I'm happy for that. And if you're wondering who 4006 is, his name is Big Mac. And as you may know, Bruce is Big Boy 4014, and he is Big Mac's brother. And the front pilot here is really nice, but I don't see any gaps in it. That's because it's almost kind of not realistic, but still. It kind of gives me vibes of the Galaxy Railways 2 Big One. And right there in the middle of the cow catcher is the small part where the coupling swings out. And right here on the front is where the Union Pacific shield should be, but it's replaced with the blank holder that doesn't hold anything. Well, I don't see the Big Boy number on the headlamp. Well, I see it on the number boards next to the bell. I really like the steam effect. It's really good. I also noticed that there's steam coming out from the steam dome, I believe. But I really like the way that this Big Boy model in Trainz Driver 2 has a very shiny finish to it. It's really shiny. I really like the way that these wheels are moved in different ways, but well, as you see, the front wheels move forward and the others catch up to the front wheels. That's because this is an articulated engine. And the back wheels don't move, sadly. And this gap right here is where the pipe is and the tender are connected. I really like the way the tender is, and there's steam coming out of the centipede, which is the wheelbase of the tender, and the wheels are shiny as well on the tender, and I really like it. And I use this big boy tender for 844, which I use a Canadian G2, I use a Canadian Northern engine, so that way I can use it as Steve in my series. And I really like the way that this big boy tender is, and I really like the way that the guys who made the models is really, really amazing. They did a good job. And right here is the Union Pacific logo on the big boy. And I have to tell you, this engine is massive. On the interior of the big boy, the big boy's cab is just a basic cab. And the levers do move. The brakes, everything. I usually prefer easy mode, but on a PC, there's more advanced features in the cab. Well, as you can see on the back of the big boy, it's just one whole opening. And I can see the firebox, but if I zoom inside of the big boy, I see the inside of the boiler, but there's nothing inside it. I also see the inside of the wheels, which is articulated on. Well, when I look underneath the engine, the side rods on the inside have no parts, and I noticed that, but I believe it's just how the developers who made this model. And I really like, and sadly there is no working bell on this big boy, but I wish they could add a working bell, but I'm afraid that's the way it is. But I'm going to show you the next model, which is in Train and Railyard Simulator. And here is the, and right here is the Train and Railyard Simulator big boy model. And surprisingly, this big boy matches the other one in Trainz, but there's one major difference. And the controls in this game are different. That's because it's on a Chromebook, and the coupling at the front right here has a coupling, and as you can see right here, there is a Union Pacific shield, which is 4006. And you're in first person view, which you're kind of viewing a locomotive, and it has the same textures on the other big boy model. And I'm really impressed that the front of the big boy in this game is the same, but there is one major difference with the tender. Well, as you can see right here, there's one huge major difference with the tender. The tender has couplings, and well, as you can see right here, the pipe that are connecting each other are apart, and that's because there's a big coupling in the middle. Well, I believe that's why. Well, I believe the developers decided to use the Trainz model big boy and use it in this game. Well, I don't know why they would do that, but I believe they wanted to impress a lot of the players that want to play this game to experience what a real-life big boy is. And as you can see right here, there is no Union Pacific logo, but I can kind of barely see it. I can kind of barely see it right here, as you can see, but I believe it was reskinned because I believe that, I don't even know for what reason, but anyways, you're in well, this game is much different compared to the other one. As you can see, the wheels are the same thing on the big boy, but there's a lot of huge differences, and I'm gonna climb inside so you can listen to the sounds, and you're inside the big boy. And this is the cab where all the controls are, but there is one huge major difference. The controls are much different compared to the ones in Trainz 2. And, well, in this case right here, all the levers, brake, and all the stuff, etc., it is much different. And as you can see right here, the point where I move the regulator front, forward, and backwards, the big boy is this big boy's cab features are much different. And the brake feature is much different compared to the other one. And right here is, and I'm gonna pan out, I'm gonna show the camera. And this right here is where the other side of this big boy model. And as you can see right here, this model is very different compared to the other one. The same headlamp features as the other model, as I showed before, and everything else is different. But there's also a huge difference at the back. There's a back lamp on the top of the cab of the roof of the big boy on this model right here, and the whistle is much different on this model right here in this game. There are many other locomotives in this game, and I'm gonna give you a listen to the whistle of this engine. Well, that whistle is very good and impressive in my opinion, but it's much different compared to the other one. Well, there is a steam dome, but they're right here at the back. There was supposed to be another steam dome. Well, I don't know what happened to it, but I believe that they kind of removed it or something. I don't know. But anyways, this big boy model is very different compared to the other one. And I'm going to release the brakes and start the engine off. And also I can control with my arrow keys. Now then, let's do this. And as you can see right here, the chuffing sound is way different than this one. The chuffing sound on this model is very different compared to the other one. I hear a lot of squeaking and rattling. That's because of this model. That's because this is a different game. I really like the sound of this model as well. Well, if I press the whistle, it kind of gets a little glitchy when it moves. But I don't know why, but it's probably because of the way the engine is moving. Well, the game is kind of lagging because of the fast speed of the wheels, I believe. Well, as you can see at the top of the funnel, the funnel on the top is very different compared to the other one in Trainz. I see a lot of wheel spinning there. I see it a lot. It's very cool. I never thought a big boy in this game could go that fast. The tender has very different features. Well, the back coupling is much different compared to the other one, Trainz. this big boy model has very different textures, but they kind of have the same thing. But it would be better if this Union Pacific shield would be on the Trainz big boy and Trainz 2. That would be very good. This locomotive has a front and back headlamp, but I don't know why. But it's probably just the way the model is. Well, and that's it for this model review of the Union Pacific Big Boy Train Yard Simulator, Train and Rail Yard Simulator, and Trainz Driver 2, and the Trainz Big Boy. And if you guys, and which locomotive do you prefer? And if you like this, and if you like both or another engine, the Trainz or this big boy, tell me what you think in the comments. And I'll be heading out, and I'll see you guys later. Until then, keep on steaming, you guys. See you later.